welcome back to the channel. This is Emma and Georgia, and today we are watching Queen Charlotte Season 1 Episode 4. If you want to watch our uncut season reactions, links to the Patreon is down below.
Last episode we saw Charlotte and George on their odd and mostly even days. They had agreed to have sex every other day on even days. And that was basically the only time they saw each other. They would have dinner together, but she would moan at him for breathing too loudly. It was just an awful way to live, an awful insight into what their marriage was like at the beginning. But the passion was still there, that's for sure.
Their marriage so far has been very rocky. There's been good times, but I feel like there's been more bad than good at the moment. But you know, they're still getting to know each other. Like, they've been thrusted into this marriage so early, and they're trying to figure each other out, learning to trust one another, and it's tough. It's tough. And yeah, you can see, I think last episode especially, you could see George resisting Charlotte quite a lot with trusting her fully. I definitely felt that he was trying to create some distance and try and ignore her as much as possible, like do the deed on the even days, but after that he's going to do his own thing. He's very much a lone wolf in this show, so I felt for Charlotte at multiple points because, you know, she does get lonely. She's only got Brimsley, that's all she's got. So
Lady Danbury, when she comes
and
over.
Lady Danbury, of course, we have her coming in occasionally, but day to day, you know, that place is big. It's a big house, so you're gonna get bored pretty quick.
Yeah, exactly. We saw by the end, wow, they had that lovely conversation when Charlotte was like finding out more about him being a farmer and him being a more reserved king. It was after the conversation with Lady Danbury, actually, because Lady Danbury wanted to throw her own ball, but the Dowager Princess and Lord Bute were very against it. And so Lady Danbury kind of had a pep talk with Charlotte, like, you are the first of our kind, you are important for societal progression. And Charlotte kind of realised, like, oh, I've been so focused on my king and my honeymoon, I haven't really thought about the bigger picture here. So she had that conversation with George about, like, accepting him how he is, and he really, like, fell for that and said, okay, we'll be a team from now on. And they attended the ball and had such a lovely night. Like, even the Dowager Princess was like, I've never seen him so happy.
I know, it reminded me of Bridgerton days where they'd have their ball and then they'd be in the dresses, dancing on the dance floor and just having such a good time. And it was, I think it's one of my favourite scenes so far, and it was really nice to watch, like, just seeing the king and queen just dancing, so happy. It's the first time we've seen George and Charlotte so happy in each other's presence. So it was nice. It was nice to see.
Yeah. Oh, it was so good. Violet's dad is proving to be an absolute king himself. Not in the literal sense of the word.
Yeah.
But at the end, we saw that George seemed to have an episode or something because he was looking very frantic and going on about Venus, and he ran outside naked, saying to Venus that he knew she'd come. But Charlotte thankfully handled it so well, like, especially putting it into perspective that she's 17 years old, had no idea what was going on, but she calmed him down and led him back inside. And I guess we'll see where they go from here this episode, because I'm hoping more comes to light about what his mental illness is.
I don't even know how they're going to start this, because the last episode ended so, like, surprisingly. Like, we did not expect to see one of George's episodes so, like, in full, out in the open, the everything that like goes on with him in his mind. And I think Charlotte handled it, as you said, brilliantly, especially as mental illness in those times especially was not talked about, very taboo. So the fact that at such a young age she handled him so well and completely unexperienced with it, she was just a natural, and I definitely think that's going to aid their marriage for sure, knowing how to calm George down when he's having one of these episodes. So I do hope we get more of an insight into his point of view of what he goes through, especially because we want a bit more about him and, you know, how these came about and such. I want to know more about Farmer George.
Yes, I want to see him more in his element and what he's really like, other than the mask that he puts on when he's King George. So I guess we'll have to see this episode. I hope Charlotte takes it well.
Yeah, I mean, has the patience of a saint for dealing with, you know, the first few days of marriage totally apart, you know, going bananas in that place. So I think she can listen, as she has last episode when they had that heart-to-heart. So I have full faith in Charlotte.
Just pulled the king out of a hole in the vegetable garden where he was busy discoursing with the sky. Is that usual?
Yep. By the looks of things.
No, Your Majesty, the king has not been himself lately.
What has happened to my husband?
No one's telling her.
He's just silent.
Tell her I'm busy in a field. I'm afraid she insists. I believe she's found you a bride.
Oh my god, this was the day he met Charlotte. Well, no, maybe the few days before.
Hang on, she found him a bride. Was she not aware of her skin colour prior to that?
I thought George chose her.
Move to place royal revenues under control of the House of Commons.
You interrupted my mother.
Oh, shit!
Every day you fail to produce an heir, our family's position weakens.
Right. Thank you for the cue. Now I ask, is that all a king is? A royal stud whore?
Literally just like Charlotte.
Tell me, what would the people prefer? A royal baby or cheap bread?
Right now, they have neither.
Did they stop
Oh,
going on at
shit.
them once they produce an heir? Because
Pretty much, I'm sure.
Charlotte's pretty
Because-
similar with her kids.
No, but they're much older.
I have found you a queen. Sophia Charlotte of Mecklenburg-Strelitz.
That's quite a title.
How exotic.
She is on a ship,
A ship. Now.
bound
Oh,
for
they
London.
just sent her here without him
The
even
betrothal
knowing.
Contracts are signed.
Wow.
So when Charlotte was climbing that wall, that was the first time George was meeting her, like, at all. No photo or anything.
And he'd only just found out.
No longitude, no bride. She loses the moon if she's lost.
Withdraw. Withdraw.
You heard her.
Not only the moon, Pollux lost. Regulus lost. Pollux lost. Regulus. Oh.
It happened so quickly.
I wonder if stress is a trigger.
King's condition is not merely physical, but nervous.
Do you understand what you are saying, sir?
That is treason. If the king is declared insane, he loses the throne.
Not insane. Merely suffering a disorganization of the nerves.
Oh, this guy's a new hotshot.
I don't even want to know what his idea of curing is.
This quack has no place among proper doctors.
The proper doctors have failed me, so I have had to cast a wider net.
And this is why they run the cellar, probably.
Simply talking to him.
Talking? Huh. Are we to believe this malady can be cured with one's voice?
It depends on the voice. Remember yourself.
Is this actually gonna work?
You are the King of England. You have thousands prepared to die at a word from you.
That's not what he wants to hear.
I know, this is adding more stress, surely.
You can command yourself too.
Oh, hello.
Are you fit to marry, George?
I am.
That shut the other doctors up. I forgot to look up that guy's name, I'm
Can you
sorry.
believe we still don't know his name?
We still don't know his name.
There is a problem.
Reynolds!
Now, Brimsley.
Bride is missing.
Reynolds, okay. Reynolds. It might be stress, you know. Because he looks
So
stressed.
he looks like he could... Oh no.
I'm not ready. Not right.
I have examined you thoroughly and you are perfectly right. You are perfectly right.
Oh, do you know what I was about to say?
Jesus Christ!
I was about to say, the only solace I have in this is that he doesn't do anything physical to him. And then he
Yeah.
whacked him.
And then he freaking whacked him one. Actually, I think it is what he needed.
Hello, my lady. Are you in need of assistance of some kind?
That's where it happened.
He fell in love
at
straight
sight.
away.
Just wait.
Oh god, we're gonna see the argument again.
I want to know what happened after the argument.
Forgive me, Your Majesty.
Charlotte.
Yeah, that was brutal when we first saw that.
He was not just stargazing in Q. I stand by that.
Okay, well, we're about to see.
Come on then, just a tipple.
His Majesty is back here, now.
Yeah, guys, come on.
They thought they were
Make
getting a
haste.
wedding night as well.
Welcome back, Your Majesty.
Observatory now. Just you. I did not know a woman could be so beautiful. Perhaps is she dull? She is terrifyingly clever. That is the problem. If she were ugly, if she were dull, I might feel myself up to the task.
He was overwhelmed by her just presence of being brilliant.
Perfection is matched only by my deformity. She belongs.
I think
to
he's
the
very
Father.
insecure.
Your Majesty
It's so
must be
sad
returning to
because she
Buckingham
was
House.
saying to him, like, he must be deformed. That's why no one's telling me about him.
I hope he didn't
And
take
now
that to
he's-
heart.
It seems like he has because he sees himself as deformed.
Was I not clear that I'm not to be disturbed under any circumstance?
You were, Your Majesty. It is just that this particular circumstance is rather...
Get to the point, Reynolds.
What? Why was I not informed?
No one was informed, Your Majesty. She just appeared.
Good God.
She's at the brig.
You do not
Oh,
understand.
she's
because
intimidated
this
by
is
her
who you were born to
intelligence.
be. I cannot do whatever I like. The Queen is not allowed to go to the Mode East or the galleries or the eye shops. I cannot make friends.
She felt really insulted
Say something!
by his absence, but he was
I do not want to
shielding
I
her
want to
from
fight
him.
With you. Fight
Yeah.
with me. Fight for me.
Go home, Charlotte.
Yeah, it's really sad.
Doctor,
He's
thank you for coming so
back.
quickly.
Of course, Your Majesty.
Scientists keep the best of it to themselves. Am I right, Monroe?
Oh shit.
Sure, I understand, Your Majesty.
It can be years before the public learns of the newest discoveries, and for good reason. So he would employ only his safest, his most proven treatments, keeping the
He wants to
counting
experiment.
to himself.
God, he's asking
No,
for
do you
it.
understand me
He's
now?
asking for
I may begin.
It is
dangerous
not enough to
things.
once they start.
I have been experimenting with something more proactive.
Please, I want to be well.
He's doing this all for her.
You are used to the obedience of others.
Jesus.
Oh my
Must be that
god.
rough.
Manhandled?
Right from the off. Oh my god.
I hate all that open razor stuff.
We require solitude. You are dismissed.
He doesn't even see it.
You are used to splendor, luxury.
So his plan is to completely change who he is as a person.
You have never known the salubrious powers of...
Oh, that's awful.
Above all, you have never learned...
I know,
to
meanwhile
submit.
Charlotte's got all the nice stuff.
She was so unhappy living the life of luxury while he was going through this torment.
I know, like the juxtapositions. Oh,
A dog!
Excuse
What the hell is
me?
there a dog doing here?
what is Doc
It's
doing
the
here?
origin of your fits.
Oh god.
That looks like an electric chair.
It looks
or
like a
something.
torture device, you're right. It's scary though.
Ah.
He's getting ball gagged and
If you
everything.
cannot govern yourself, you're not fit to govern others.
Why are there so many animals here? That's awful.
Where's the Pomeranian here?
Oh my god, did he give her that dog?
In here, you are just another animal in a cage. Just like an animal! I will break you!
Bloody
Imagine if this is like his attempt to be the king. Oh god, a really
Are those
hor-
leeches?
Yeah, they suck your blood.
Doctor! Doctor! Our goal was to restore me to myself. Much more of this, and I will not have a self to return to.
Yeah, gonna
Is
kill
a
him.
broken king really better than a mad one?
I do not call it the terrific method for nothing.
Have you actually tried this on anyone?
It is a prodigious quantity of ice they keep carting around here. And as for the food, I do not know that I would see it fed to our lowest stable
Are
hand.
you questioning the doctor's methods?
Of course he is. So are you. You know it.
Reynolds only wants your best interest.
I have my own doubts about them, but I have to try. It's the only chance I have of being with her.
This is horrible.
Abandoning her honeymoon chamber is in violation of all custom and decorum, not to mention my direct
Oh god, here we go.
bursting in unannounced on the king.
God, the
Well, she's
shame
almost
of
as
it.
bad A woman like that is too dangerous for a man like me.
Or maybe a perfect
Yeah.
match.
I know. Maybe a perfect match. Come on, George, think about it like that.
He doesn't want someone that he can order around.
Ready the carriage, Reynolds. We're going to Buckingham House.
With a dog.
The dog arrived first.
Oh right, okay. I don't know
I
when.
haven't actually seen him send the dog. I hope it was that dog.
Yeah, I would like to hope that that dog was rescued.
He just came and watched her play chess by
Oh.
herself.
Are you serious? I was gonna say we haven't seen this before. Oh, this is sad.
Oh, that's so sad.
Oh, she has to
Brimsley's
switch.
just watching.
Can't Brimsley play with her?
She's playing chess with herself.
Yes! Why aren't you doing it?
I believe she is lonely, Your Majesty.
Lonely. Imagine that. I've spent my whole life longing for time to myself.
Oh,
I know.
she had enough.
She's fed up with it. I don't blame her.
Queen, a gesture.
Oh,
A gesture. What hours does the doctor keep?
he rescued the dog. Yes.
Oh, brilliant idea.
On the contrary.
And she was so unappreciative. If she only knew what it had been through.
Honestly, yeah, I remember the Queen's face when she saw that dog. She was like, is it a rat? Like, what is that?
Yes.
It's not a dog. Oh.
Fitting present now. From my cage to hers. I want the Queen to know we will not be caged forever.
She certainly didn't get that analogy from
He
you.
should have probably written it on a note.
My dog is missing.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
I arrived at my laboratory this morning to find the cage unlatched.
Oh god, he's wielding a sharp weapon as well.
Soon enough, an animal tires of its cage. Do you agree, Doctor?
Oh. Oh, for God's sake! Took me a minute to read that, Horizon.
That S was a bit dodgy, I have to say.
Yeah, it's
She
really.
called it a deformed bunny.
Now he knows that he stole the dog.
No chair today.
Your Majesty, boy, I command you to stay.
Sorry, Doctor. Today I would rather work on my farm.
He's the one that gives the orders round here, not you, mate.
I know.
You can confirm His Majesty's condition has eased?
What condition?
Whatever condition has kept him away so long.
There is no condition.
I remember this dinner going quite poorly as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's waiting with bated breath.
I know.
He's trying so hard to hold it together.
No, I really do feel for him. I think it's just that reassurance that someone is there for him in that moment that calms him down. Just that.
That's so sweet.
That simple act alone just reassured him like it's okay. The shock
And we
on
were
her
just
face.
like, oh wow, you showed your face.
I know, we were so mad at him when we first saw this because we felt Charlotte's anger and frustration.
It's alright, I join you for a meal this evening.
A meal.
Charlotte!
God.
Charlotte, if you'll just give me a chance. Charlotte, stop walking this instant! You have no reason to trust me. I marry you, and then I disappear into my observatory. And then I come here to dine as if... But if you will give me just one evening of your time, allow me to show you where my mind has been.
It was all a lie, though. Oh, I guess not all lies, because he clearly does have an obsession with Venus.
I am coming home to Buckingham House.
Gosh, and what does the doctor feel about that?
Such a change could have disastrous consequences for your health.
My health. Doctor, I feel healthier than I have in years.
The Queen is at breakfast in the dining room. If you would like to join her, I can. Shall I send for the doctor, Your Majesty?
Yes, yes. Get him.
Oh, don't bring that
Straight
freak here.
away.
She will never know of it.
It's literally day one of him moving back in.
Oh god, he looks pissed. In his actions, I can tell.
Giant razor in your hand when you are waving it around like that.
Since you moved here, you've not been to the chair once.
That sounds so menacing.
If we do not resume treatment soon,
Just bring the chair here, it's a chair.
everything we have accomplished.
We...
He just wants a breakthrough for his work.
I think it is purely selfish.
My colic was never just colic. My colic was a disaster.
Any idea what colic is?
Sorry, no.
Potential ruin of England. I've lived my entire life in terror of acting incorrectly because every incorrect action threatened the ruin of
God,
England.
just growing
Terror
up like that, you can see why he gets so uneasy and nervous.
Yeah. You can't get anything wrong for the sake of England.
Now, I have met a woman who is never terrified, who does as she pleases, breaks rules, courts, scandal.
It's everything he aspires.
Because that's the complete opposite of what he was told.
And she is the most royal person I've ever known.
I think he had faith that being around Charlotte would make him feel better, but I think the damage is done. What is he doing here?
Yeah, what is he doing here?
Thought he dismissed him.
Perhaps I failed to speak clearly before. You will never treat me again. You are no longer my doctor.
Oh.
This is why he has that episode.
Nevertheless, I remain the Queen's.
Oh, you cannot put that on him.
Stay away from her.
But, Your Majesty, she came to me.
When?
And that the King's doctor was here and apparently figured that she should not settle for anything less.
He's making shit up.
That has to be a bold-faced lie.
She is with child.
Oh.
What?
She was not sure, but I am. Congratulations, Your Majesty.
He cannot have you treating her when she's with child.
That's a disaster.
I don't even know if it's the truth. Has he just told him that to stress him out and trigger him again? I hope they named one of their children Venus.
Honestly, that would be so fitting. After all the planets.
Earth.
Uranus. That overwhelming stress of putting that on your child is what's triggering him. Oh, she finds him here, I think.
I wonder what his condition is.
What has happened to my husband?
They don't really know, do they? They can't give her an answer.
Oh, does he think she's leaving?
She's like, no, back to Germany for me.
No!
Can't do this.
The windows were sealed shut on the upper floors and suddenly locks.
She
everywhere.
noticed
Locks on
that.
the armoury, the kitchen, the shed where the gardeners keep their shears. A coincidence, surely.
Wow.
All this time I thought I was the damaged one. That somehow
She doesn't think he's damaged though, does she?
The king is not mad. The king is merely exhausted from holding the greatest nation in the world on his shoulders.
I bet you helped put the pressure on him though.
You would do anything to stop the cracking. You would engage hideous doctors and 1,000 disgusting treatments. You would scour Europe for a queen grateful enough to aid him.
He was talking to the sky.
And what of it? You
Is he hearing this? No!
Oh god, this is like what happened last time when she heard him.
Strap me back in.
Oh, he's terrified. Why do we have to do this? He has an episode when he's under severe stress and nervousness. So this is just aiding in that.
He's loving it.
I know. He's like, yes, get my big discovery, big break. Oh, this is so heartbreaking. No, Charlotte, I thought a bit better of you, man. Like, they had that
only
heart
17.
to heart. I know she is, but they had that heart to heart where she put herself in his shoes, saying like, you know, that is a lot of weight to bear, you know, Farmer George and everything. And then she basically just insulted him to his mum and to him without her knowing and went off.
I know.
Yeah.
I mean, she will get over it because she stays married to him. But I think the initial reaction of like, she was brought here, she knew absolutely nothing about this man, and she had her brother signed the contract. She didn't even agree to marry him herself. Someone else did it for her. And then since she's been here, it's been a slurry of ups and downs. And I think when she had that conversation with him about sharing the burden, she didn't expect this to be the burden.
Definitely not, did she? Yeah, she was not prepared for George.
And when she's 17 years old and she has the prospect of her whole life now having to like take care of her husband essentially, because she will have to do that, let's face it. It's like, wow, she was supposed to be joining this life of luxury, but now she's going to be like a care of her husband in a way. But he's not like it all the time is the thing. Like, and also mental illness was such a stigma back then as well. Like, I can understand why she would react that way, as long as she gets over it soon and like tells George that she loves him how he is. That's all I need.
I know. I think we will get it, but it's going to take a bit of time because I think that initial shock of just seeing George act very, you know, out there, completely naked, just screaming at the sky. I think anyone in her position would be very taken aback by that. And, you know, the initial contact of it, she was really good. But I think afterwards, once the shock had calmed down and she actually processed what just happened, she exploded like she did. And it's kind of an understandable reaction when you put yourself in her shoes. Like, what the hell is going on? No one told me any of this. She feels kind of betrayed that, you know, she was sort of forced into a lie. Like, she was pushed into this going in blind. She didn't know any of these things, and, you know, it's a lot to take on, but, you know, he can't help it. That is who he is, and I really don't think this treatment's a good idea. I really don't. I really think it's going to give him long-term health problems. Like, you don't need to be a doctor to know putting leeches on his chest is a bad thing.
I have to say, this doctor clearly is not letting go. George dismissed him, and now he's staying and saying that he's Charlotte's doctor. Do you believe him on that? I don't believe she went up to him and found him, because she wasn't getting any answers about why he was in the cellar.
No, I don't think so. She's never seen this doctor before either.
And we haven't seen her say she's pregnant either, unless that was like all to be revealed in this episode, like, oh my gosh. But because of his nature, I don't believe him. I think he's just trying to stress George out so that he can continue treatment.
I think this doctor appeared very knowledgeable, and now his true colours really are showing that he really is a selfish bastard, pretty much. I think he only cares about his own success at the cost of ruining the king, pretty much, and doing all these sadistic experiments on him that, like, it's disgusting. And I know back then, as we've said before, mental illness, they didn't know how to treat that. They didn't know what to do, like, with someone that suffered with that. I think he had the right idea, funny enough, when he, at the very start of the episode, when he literally just talked to George. That is better than all the other torture methods he has inflicted upon him. Let's be real here, like, just that was so much better than pretty much drowning him in ice water and the leeches and everything. Like, I don't see how that's going to help him. I really don't.
I don't think it would have cured him per se, though. Although, can it even be cured these days? Like, it can be managed for sure.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's a cure.
Well, I mean, we don't know exactly what he has, but with many mental illnesses, it's more the management of it than curing it, because a lot cannot be cured, only managed with your day-to-day life. So it is a case here where they just need to figure out, like, a plan where if he does have an episode, then they can do methods to help him get out of that. Not torturing him every day, that's not going to help him. Finding out what his triggers are and how to help him through that is what's going to help him. But back then, I don't think they really understood that concept and just started doing everything they thought of to help, you know.
Yeah, it's not going to work, and I do wonder, because it's not dementia, and we know he gets dementia later on. Is he just super unlucky and somehow had two illnesses like that? Or did that somehow cause it in a way? Like his treatments, did it alter his brain?
That's what I'm predicting. I think that these horrible treatment methods are going to give him that onset of dementia or any health issue, because we've seen him in the future. He isn't a healthy guy. Like, he was in a really bad state when we last saw him in Bridgerton. So we know he's not going to be a healthy king later on. So I think this might aid in, you know, his demise in a way later on in life. So it is really depressing watching it, because I just can't help but feel that these methods are just not going to help him. It looks like stress is a big trigger for him. When he was waiting for Charlotte, that nervousness and the voices started, I think that was from nervousness and stress, so that might be a big trigger for him, and he could help work on that, like what Reynolds did with just putting his hand on his shoulder, telling him he's there. That helped him. So, and that helps people in modern life, you know, with having someone there for you. It's small, but it makes a difference, and I think that might be the case here. But, you know, I'm no doctor, so...
It's going to be so sad when we go back to Bridgerton and see him not being able to remember Charlotte.
I know. Oh, God, I don't want to see that, honestly, because, like, seeing him here struggle is painful enough to watch, like, seeing the heartbreak there. But when we see him later on in life, that is going to suck.
It's funny, because I remember in Bridgerton thinking, oh, the Queen Charlotte clearly doesn't love her husband, because for one thing he looks so much older than her in Bridgerton as well. I thought it was like one of those marriages with a massive age gap. But also because she all the time she says, is he dead? As soon as the doctors come or anyone.
She does.
As soon as like Brimsley or someone comes with news about the king, first thing she says, is he dead? And it's like, oh my god, you're just waiting for your king to die. But seeing the backstory, we now know I think she truly does love him. I suppose she's just waiting for him to die. When you watch someone deteriorate like this for so many years, you're just waiting for them to die to kind of grieve. You're grieving the person you've lost when someone has dementia, because they can't remember who you are, so you're just waiting for them to go, for the pain to stop, I suppose.
Yeah, put them out of their suffering. It is horrible if you know someone with a condition like dementia and that just you're basically just watching them deteriorate before your very eyes, and that is the case here. I think she just wants to have that closure of him and his pain to end rather than prolong it, because you know, you see cases of people that live with so many health conditions for a long time, but they're in pain every single day, and they like it's inhumane, really. You know, you just want that person that you love to stop suffering. And I think, the Queen says it very like abruptly, like, is he dead, and that, but I think inside it's sort of like a coping thing,
a dread
where she's like,
as well.
Yeah, I think it is more to it, and she just wants him to stop suffering, and I think she wishes for him to be okay and back to normal, but you know, sadly that's not how things work.
That's it for today, guys. Thank you for watching our reaction to Queen Charlotte episode 4. If you want to watch our uncut reactions to Queen Charlotte, the link to the Patreon page will be in the description below. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and we'll see you next time for episode 5. Bye!
Bye!